The great galactic council was silent. 1,000 alien eyes watched the blue hologram in the center of the chamber, Earth, glowing weakly, half covered in smoke. For centuries, humans had been the youngest race in the stars, small, loud, and always curious. They had joined the Galactic Union with dreams of peace and progress. But now, everything had changed. Counselor Verith, a tall insectoid being with crystal wings, stared at the hologram. "Is it confirmed?" he asked in a sharp, trembling tone. The reply came from a reptilian commander, scales glinting under the light. "Confirmed. The Terrans destroyed the Dravik fleet. All of it." A ripple of shock moved through the room. Someone hissed. Another being whispered, "Impossible." The Dravik fleet was the largest military force in the galaxy. 50,000 warships armed with plasma storms and quantum torpedoes. No one could defeat them. Not even the Council itself dared challenge them. But the humans had. And they had won. "They were provoked," said Counselor Marine, a gentle aquatic being whose voice flowed like water. "The Dravik bombed their colonies. Killed their civilians. The humans asked for peace." "Yes," Verith said bitterly. "And when peace was denied, they answered with fire." No one spoke. The silence was heavy. Deep in the hologram, Earth's orbit was filled with human ships, gray, sharp, and burning like knives. Their newest design, the Retribution class. Built not for exploration, not for defense, but vengeance. One image played in the air, a recording from a Dravik warship moments before its destruction. The camera showed a human ship approaching slowly. A voice came through their comms, cold, calm, human. "You came to our home. You burned our children. Now, we will show you what humans do when they break." Then the feed cut into static. The council chamber trembled slightly as the memory replayed. "They snapped," whispered an old voice. Council Elder Trainer, the oldest being in the room. "Humanity has finally snapped." On Earth, General Aaron Hale stood in front of a broken window in what was left of the United Earth Command Center. The city outside was dark, its lights gone. Ash floated like snow. Behind him, the new Earth fleet commanders were waiting. "We destroyed the Dravik Prime," one of them said quietly. "Their homeworld is gone. No life signs left." Hale didn't respond at first. His reflection in the window showed tired eyes, eyes that had seen too much loss. "They thought we were weak," he said finally. "They thought we would beg." He turned, looking at the holographic table showing red and blue marks, every alien power that had once ignored humanity's pleas for help. "But now they'll remember us." He raised his hand, pointing to the glowing map of the galaxy. "Every world that watched our people burn will feel the same fire." There was no cheer, no smile. Only quiet, grim faces. Humanity had changed. Back in the council, panic began to spread. "They've gone too far," shouted one delegate. "They destroyed an entire planet." "Contain them," another cried, "before they come for us." Counselor Marine raised her voice. "Contain them? You cannot contain a species that has already lost everything. Don't you understand? They have nothing left to fear." Her words hung in the air like a cold wind. "They call it Operation Dawnfire," said Verith, reading from a report. "Their fleets are moving. Dravik, Trinax, and even neutral systems, all are being targeted." Council Elder Trainer sighed deeply. "It's the beginning of a storm. A human storm." Far away, in deep space, the UNS Vengeance drifted through the wreckage of the Dravik fleet. Thousands of alien ships burned in silence. Inside, Captain Lena Torres looked at the stars, calm, distant, untouched by the war. Her crew was silent. The radio crackled with one final message from Earth Command. "Phase 2 begins at dawn. No mercy." She closed her eyes. "Yes, sir." The stars shimmered outside her window, millions of them, but none looked as bright as before. The council watched helplessly as human fleets moved from system to system, not conquering, not negotiating, simply erasing those who had once called them primitive. "We created this," whispered Marine. "We told them they were small. We ignored their pain. And now—" Verith finished her sentence quietly. "Now they will make sure no one ever ignores them again." The chamber lights dimmed as another human broadcast appeared on every galactic channel. A simple message. "We wanted peace. You gave us war. Now, we will bring peace, in our way." The feed ended. The silence was total. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Great Galactic Council felt fear. Because they finally understood, humanity wasn't fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting to end the game itself. The council chamber was darker than before. No one spoke loudly anymore. Fear had become a quiet shadow in every corner. The holograms that once showed trade routes and diplomacy now showed burning stars, colonies turning red, fleets turning to dust. Counselor Verith stood before the others, his wings folded tight against his back. "We cannot wait any longer," he said. "The humans have begun their second phase." He waved his clawed hand, and a new projection appeared, Operation Dawnfire. Dozens of red lines spread from Earth like a web of fire. Every red line ended at a planet once allied with the Dravic Empire. "They're destroying entire systems," whispered Counselor Marine, her voice trembling. "Not conquering, cleansing." "They say it's justice," another alien said bitterly. "They call it balance." Verith turned. "It's not balance. It's retribution. And it's spreading faster than we can act." He looked at the Council's supreme chair, an ancient crystalline being named Zorthuan, whose body shimmered faintly with inner light. "We need to intervene before the galaxy collapses into chaos." Zorthuan spoke slowly, every word heavy. "You mean war against humanity?" Silence followed. Even suggesting it felt dangerous. Humanity, once the weakest member of the Union, was now the most unpredictable. They had grown too fast, too angry, too united. "They will not stop," Verith said. "They have nothing to lose." Marine lowered her head. "Then maybe we should ask why." Everyone turned toward her. "Maybe instead of fighting them," she said softly, "we should understand what broke them." On the other side of the galaxy, the UNS Vengeance cut through hyperspace. Its hull bore the scars of war, black and silver against the cold void. Captain Lena Torres stood on the bridge, watching the blue swirl of jump space fade into real stars. Ahead of her was the Trinax system, neutral territory. Or at least, it had been. "Command authorization received," said her comm officer. "We are cleared for orbital strike." Lena hesitated. The Trinax weren't soldiers. They had simply traded with the Dravic, nothing more. "Do it," she ordered quietly. Moments later, the night above Trinax Prime turned white. Cities vanished in silence. The ground melted like glass. No one on the bridge spoke. Lena gripped the rail in front of her. She wanted to feel proud. She wanted to believe this was justice. But all she felt was the hollow weight of silence. Her first officer, Commander Ray Jean, looked at her. "Ma'am, how far does this go?" She didn't answer. She couldn't. Back at the council, Zorthuan addressed the assembly once more. "3 civilizations gone," he said. 5 more under attack. The human fleets move with precision we have never seen. Even their AI units show no emotion. They fight as if guided by one will. "That's because they are," said Verith grimly. "Their species acts as one now. Their pain has unified them." "Then what do you suggest?" someone shouted. "Surrender? We can't negotiate with fire." Marine stood. "You're wrong. You can. But only if you stop throwing fuel into it." Verith frowned. "You think they'll listen?" She nodded slowly. "If we show them we understand their pain, maybe. But if we send fleets, they'll see us as the next enemy." Zorthuan looked between them both. "Then we will send an envoy. A peaceful mission." The chamber erupted in chaos. Voices overlapped, protests, fear, warnings. They'll shoot them down. They killed Dravik Prime. They have no mercy. But Zorthuan silenced them with a single word. Enough. He looked at Marine. You will lead this mission. Find their leaders. Make them remember what mercy means. Marine bowed her head. I will try. In deep space, the human fleet regrouped near a dying sun. General Aaron Hale watched as the stars flickered through the smoky glass of the command station. A young officer approached. Sir, alien envoy approaching. Non-hostile. Hale's expression didn't change. Arm the defense grid. They're not attacking, sir. I know, he said quietly. But they will. The envoy's ship appeared, small, silver, and unarmed. It sent a message in clear Terran English. We seek peace. Please respond. Hale stared at the message for a long moment. Then he said, Put it through. The screen lit up, showing the soft blue face of Counselor Marine. General Hale, she said calmly. I come on behalf of the Council. The galaxy is in chaos. We ask you to stop. Hale's face was cold, unreadable. You didn't ask the Dravik to stop. You didn't ask anyone to stop when they were burning our children alive. Marine's eyes softened. We failed you. The Council failed you. But this isn't justice anymore. It's destruction. Hale leaned forward. You think we don't know that? We know exactly what this is. This is balance. Balance? She asked quietly. Yes, he said. You all built a galaxy on our suffering. Now we're evening the scales. The signal cut before she could answer. Back at the Council, the feed went dark. They refused, Marine whispered. Zorthuan closed his eyes. Then there will be no peace. Vareth looked at the hologram, the map of red lines growing wider and wider. No, he said. There will be something else. What? Marine asked. He turned to her, his wings trembling. Extinction. The word echoed through the chamber as, far away, human fleets prepared for their next move, the final phase of Operation Dawnfire. And the galaxy realized, too late, that when humanity broke, it didn't shatter. It sharpened. The galaxy was burning. In less than 6 months, humanity had done what no other race had ever dared. They had silenced entire empires. The stars that once shone with trade routes and colonies now glowed red on every galactic map. Inside the Great Council chamber, the air felt colder than usual. Fear had become normal. Hope had become a memory. Counselor Vareth stood before the others, his crystalline wings dim. They're moving toward Council space, he said quietly. Earth's fleets are regrouping at the Orion Gate. Dozens of voices rose in panic. That's impossible. They wouldn't attack us. The Council gave them membership. Varetha's tone was grim. That was before the Council let the Dravik burn their worlds. He looked around the chamber. Now, they see us as the enemy. Zorthuan, the Supreme Chair, shimmered faintly with internal light. Prepare our defenses, he said slowly. But do not strike first. If we provoke them, we may lose everything. Marine, the aquatic counselor, stepped forward. Her gentle voice trembled. We already have, Zorthuan. We lost their trust. Now we might lose the stars. Far away, in the void beyond the Orion Gate, thousands of human ships gathered in formation. Massive carriers hung silently in orbit. Dreadnoughts waited in cold precision, their weapons glowing faintly blue. General Aaron Hale stood at the heart of the fleet, on board the UNS Retribution, the largest human warship ever built. He looked at the hologram before him. The map of the galaxy was covered in red marks, and one final target blinked at its center. Council Prime, said Commander Ray Jean. Population, 11 billion. The seat of the entire Galactic Union. Hale nodded. We strike at dawn. Sir, Jean hesitated. They're not soldiers. They're diplomats, scientists. Hale's eyes hardened. So were the people they let die on Mars. On Europa. On our colonies. He turned away. No one's innocent anymore. Back on Council Prime, panic had already begun. The cities were filled with rumors, human fleets approaching, sky fire, destruction. In the command tower, Zorthuan spoke to Marine privately. You went to them. You saw their eyes. Tell me truthfully, is there anything left of their mercy? Marine looked down. Her voice broke slightly. Mercy is gone, Zorthuan. All that remains is purpose. Then we are doomed. Maybe not, she said suddenly. Unless. He looked at her sharply. Unless what? There's something they fear. Something that even they can't control. What are you talking about? Marine lowered her tone. Their new weapons, the ones that destroyed the Dravik fleet. They call them echo bombs. They aren't simple explosives. They use the same quantum fields that power hyperspace. When they detonate, they erase reality itself. Zorthuan's body dimmed in shock. Erase. Yes. Space, time, everything, gone. Nothing remains. The chamber went silent. If they use that on Council Prime, Marine whispered, the system will vanish from the galaxy. On the UNS Retribution, the final preparations began. The weapon bay glowed red, guarded by heavy drones. Inside, a massive sphere pulsed with a strange light, bending space around it like water. Captain Lena Torres entered, her expression unreadable. General, the echo bomb is ready. Hale looked at it in silence. The weapon hummed faintly, like a living thing. Do you know what this means? She asked quietly. He nodded. It means the end. But not just for them, she said. This could destroy everything nearby, even us. Hale didn't flinch. Then we'll die knowing we were finally heard. Hours later, the human fleet reached Council Prime. Hundreds of defense stations activated. Thousands of ships took position. The sky above the planet became a sea of light. The Council sent one last message. Zorthuan's voice echoed through every channel. People of Earth, we plead for reason. The galaxy is yours if you want it. But if you destroy us, you destroy yourself. There will be no peace left to rule. The message ended. Silence filled the stars. Then Hale's reply came, calm and heavy. There was never peace. Only waiting. And the human fleet opened fire. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Council ships fought desperately, their energy shields flickering under the relentless human assault. Planetary cannons struck back, burning entire Terran cruisers to ash. But humanity did not stop. Every ship moved like it was part of one living machine, silent, deadly, unstoppable. Captain Lena Torres watched as explosions painted the stars. They're breaking through our flank, her first officer warned. Let them, she said coldly. We're almost in range. Inside the Retribution's core, the echo bomb began to glow brighter, bending the light around it. General Hale gave the final order. Arm the device. But before the countdown began, a new voice broke through the calm. General Hale, this is Counselor Marine. He froze. How did you get this channel? Listen to me, she said urgently. If you use that weapon, it won't just end them, it'll end everything. You'll erase this entire system, maybe half the galaxy. Hale stared at the screen. Her face was calm, but her eyes begged. Please, she said softly. You've already won. Don't become the thing you hate. For a long moment, no one moved. The only sound was the soft hum of the bomb. Then Hale said quietly, You don't understand. We already became that the day they burned our skies. He turned toward the control panel. Begin countdown. Marine's voice broke. Aaron. The transmission cut. Outside, the stars trembled. The echo bomb began to spin. The The galaxy held its breath. In the void above Council Prime, the UNS Retribution floated silently. The echo bomb's glow pulsed like a heartbeat, bending the stars around it. Every human ship in the fleet remained in formation, waiting, watching, ready. General Aaron Hale stood at the control console, eyes fixed on the countdown timer. 10, 9, 8. Inside Council Prime, Marine and Zorthuan could only watch the approaching storm through the planetary observatory. The council chambers were empty. All had fled to the lower defense levels. The planet itself seemed to hold its breath. "They're really going to do it," Marine whispered. Her gills flared slightly, betraying her fear. "They've never stopped before." Zorthuan's crystalline body shimmered faintly. "If they detonate the echo bomb, it's not just this system. Entire sectors, stars, matter itself, may vanish." Marine swallowed hard. "Then we must try one last time. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe there's still reason." In the Retribution, Captain Lena Torres stood beside Hale. "Sir, if this weapon goes off, calculations show a 90% chance of total collapse within a 20-light-year radius. Even our fleet may not survive." Hale's hands hovered over the activation panel. His jaw tightened. "Then we survive or die knowing justice has been delivered. I won't let them forget what they did." Torres looked at him, pain in her eyes. "We're not fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for vengeance. And vengeance is a poison that kills its bearer last." Hale didn't answer. The countdown continued. 5, 4, 3. Suddenly, a new channel opened. Marine's voice filled every human ship's comm. "General Hale, I know your pain. I know your rage. But this is not justice, it's annihilation. You've already shown the galaxy what humans can do. You don't need to erase everything to prove it." Hale froze. 5 seconds remained. His hand hovered over the final switch. "Think of what you'll become," Marine continued. "The galaxy will never forgive you. You'll be remembered not as survivors, but as the end of everything." 2, 1. Hale's finger pressed down. Light exploded. The echo bomb ignited, and the stars themselves seemed to scream. Space warped and twisted, bending like liquid. Council Prime shook violently, the planet's core humming in resonance with the bomb. And then, nothing. Not darkness. Not light. Just absence. The planetary observatory vanished. The chamber. The city. Every structure dissolved as if it had never existed. Even the atmosphere itself disappeared in a ripple of nothingness. The humans watched in stunned silence. On their screens, Council Prime blinked, then vanished entirely. No trace. No orbit. No star. Hale leaned heavily on the console. "It's done." Torres didn't respond. She couldn't. The emptiness stretched around them like a frozen scream. "Is this?" one young officer whispered. "Yes," Hale said quietly. "We did it." But then the warning lights began. The ships themselves shuddered. Hulls twisted, gravity failed, systems overloaded. The echo bomb's quantum pulse was not a simple weapon. It bent reality itself. And now, it was reaching back, beyond its target. "Captain!" shouted a technician. "The space-time distortion is spreading. It's moving toward us." Lena Torres' face went pale. "We miscalculated. The radius, it's expanding exponentially." Hale stared at the stars outside. What had been empty voids were now folding, twisting into strange, jagged shapes. Stars blinked out of existence as if plucked from the galaxy. Entire fleets of alien ships disappeared before human eyes. "This wasn't supposed to happen," Torres said, voice trembling. Hale gritted his teeth. "We didn't fail. We just underestimated it." Back in the remnants of council space, Marine's voice echoed through every comm channel in desperation. "Humans! Stop. You can't contain it now. You're destroying yourselves too." But the humans were powerless. The Echo Bomb's energy had become unstable, bending spacetime uncontrollably. The very stars they had wanted to punish now threatened their existence. Ships twisted, then vanished. Stars blinked out. Even the UNS Retribution began to warp, its hull stretching impossibly as reality itself fractured around it. Hale looked at the crew. Panic spread. Brace for collapse. The void outside became a storm of molten light and absence, galaxies bending and twisting as though being erased with a giant hand. And yet, in the heart of the destruction, Hale felt something else. A surge of power, of knowledge, of clarity. Humanity had survived worse. They had adapted before. Could they survive this? Torres' voice broke through his thoughts. General, I don't know if we can. Hale's hand clenched. We survive. We always survive. Even as the stars themselves began to die, humanity had not yet snapped completely. They were bending under the pressure, yes, but their resolve, their stubborn refusal to vanish quietly, remained. And the galaxy, trembling on the edge of annihilation, began to realize the terrifying truth. When humanity fought, it didn't just destroy enemies. It could destroy everything. The galaxy trembled. Stars bent, fleets twisted, planets blinked out of existence, all caused by the Echo Bomb's unstoppable pulse. But inside the UNS Retribution, humanity did what it always did. They adapted. General Aaron Hale stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic projection of the galaxy. Sections of space were vanishing before their eyes, swallowed by the bomb's quantum distortion. Sir, Commander Ray-Jean said urgently, the bomb, it's consuming the fleet. If we don't act, every ship will be erased. Hale's hands hovered over the control panel. His eyes were calm, almost serene. Then we'll bend it to our will. Torres, standing beside him, blinked. Bend it, sir. Hale turned. The Echo Bomb isn't just a weapon. It's a distortion of reality. And reality is something humans have always bent to survive. We can control it. How? Jean asked, disbelief in his voice. Hale gestured to the crew. Focus on synchronization. Every ship, every system, every mind in this fleet must think as one. We can stabilize the quantum field if we act together. The crew nodded. Years of fighting, of impossible odds, had taught them unity. They had no choice now. In the council chamber, Marine and Verith watched in horror. The humans, they're not dying, Verith said, disbelief shaking his voice. The bomb is consuming space, and yet, they are controlling it. Marine's gills flared. They're using the very weapon we feared as a shield. They've turned annihilation into protection. Nothing like this has ever been seen. Zorthuan's crystalline body pulsed in worry. If they succeed, no one will ever challenge humanity again. No one. And the galaxy will belong entirely to them. Verith whispered. Then we're already too late. Back in space, human ships synchronized. The pulsing glow of the Echo Bomb no longer seemed chaotic. Instead, it responded to their commands, bending around the fleet like water obeying a single mind. Hale's voice echoed through every channel. Hold the field. Focus. Let it flow through you. The countdown on the bomb's panel had stopped. The weapon was no longer threatening them. It had become a shield, a force field strong enough to repel the collapsing universe around them. Fleet integrity at 98%, Torres reported. We're stable, but barely. Hale nodded. Good. Now we strike, strategically. Not like before. Precision, not destruction. The humans moved like one being, their fleet navigating through the void, the Echo Bomb field bending reality to their command. They targeted only military assets and aggressors, the ships that had sought to destroy them first. One by one, alien fleets were neutralized, not with total annihilation, but with careful, surgical strikes. Ships were dismantled in orbit, their crews captured rather than erased. The galaxy watched in awe and fear. This isn't war, Marine whispered through the comm channels monitoring the events. It's a display of pure control. Of power. They've become gods in the void. Veritha's antennae twitched nervously. Gods, who can destroy stars and yet choose who lives. They aren't just a threat anymore. They're a new standard for the galaxy. In orbit of the remnants of the Dravik system, General Hale looked down at the burning fleets. His eyes were calm, but his mind was calculating. Mercy, he murmured. It's time to show them mercy. We're not monsters. Not yet. He activated the field to stabilize the debris and rescue any surviving civilians. Ships that had fled the war were allowed to escape under human supervision. Everyone alive will remember what we spared, Hale said quietly. We fight to survive, yes, but we don't kill what doesn't threaten us. Torres watched him, her expression softening. You've changed the game, sir. The galaxy will never be the same after this. Hale's eyes scanned the stars. No, they won't. And neither will we. Back at Council Prime, Marine's voice trembled with awe. The humans, they didn't just destroy. They controlled destruction itself. They survived what should have killed them all. They adapted, and now, the galaxy will never forget it. Verith turned pale. We underestimated them. Always. And now, we fear them. Not for what they did, but for what they are capable of. Zorthuan remained silent, contemplating the consequences. Humanity was no longer the young, small race the Council had once patronized. They were the ultimate variable, unpredictable, unstoppable, and impossible to control. Marine whispered, "They've become something beyond us." Verith nodded. "Something we cannot fight." In the void, human ships regrouped around the UNS Retribution. The Echo Bomb had reshaped reality, but humanity had survived, stronger, smarter, and more united than ever. Hale looked at his fleet. We fight for survival. We fight for our people. But more than anything, we fight to show the galaxy that humanity will never be ignored. The stars flickered in silence, as if acknowledging the truth. Humanity had snapped once, yes. But when the galaxy tried to break them again, they adapted, they endured, and they rose, unstoppable. And for the first time in history, every being in the galaxy understood. When humans fight, the universe itself can change. The Great Galactic Council had never felt fear like this before. For the first time in 1,000 cycles, they were not debating trade, diplomacy, or law. They were trying to negotiate with a species that had rewritten the rules of the galaxy. Councillor Verith paced the chamber, his wings folding nervously. We underestimated them. We always did. They survived the Echo Bomb, controlled it, and now they are stronger than ever. How do you reason with a force like that? Marine floated quietly beside him. We reason by appealing to what little humanity is left in them, she said softly. We remind them there's a galaxy beyond revenge. There are allies, trade, growth, peace. Verith snorted. Peace? They have seen what happens when we ignore them. The galaxy burned their homes. Millions died while we debated ethics and borders. Do you really think they want peace? Zorthuan's crystalline form pulsed slowly. Then perhaps we need another approach. Fear has failed. Logic has failed. Perhaps respect is the only path left. On Earth, the human fleet had returned to orbit. The Echo Bomb, now stabilized, hummed faintly, a reminder of the power humanity had harnessed and survived. General Aaron Hale surveyed the stars from the bridge of the UNS Retribution. His fleet had decimated aggressive alien forces, rescued civilians, and established a zone of control around several strategic systems. Sir, Commander Ray Jean said, Council Prime sent a new transmission. They want to meet, face to face. Hale's expression remained unreadable. Then we meet them. But on our terms. Torres, standing nearby, raised an eyebrow. Do you trust them? No, Hale said bluntly. But I respect them. If we're to build the galaxy we want, we need to show them strength, and offer a path forward. That's the only language the Council understands now. The Council delegation arrived at the neutral system of Varen, a place untouched by human war. Marine led the envoy personally, flanked by Vareth, diplomats, and Zorthuan. The humans waited in orbit aboard the Retribution's flagship. Hale greeted them simply. "Welcome to human space." Marine stepped forward. "General Hale, we acknowledge what you have done. We understand your pain, your anger. But the galaxy fears you. They fear what humanity has become." Hale's gaze was steady. "And they should. But I am not here to destroy anyone. I am here to make sure the mistakes of the past never happen again. Your species ignored ours, called us primitive, and let our people burn. But I don't want to repeat that cycle. I want the galaxy to survive, with us, not against us." Vareth spoke, voice trembling. "You have power, unimaginable power. You could end every star in this sector. Why don't you?" Hale smiled faintly. "Because power without purpose is chaos. And we are not here to rule through fear. We are here to rule through strength and vision. If the galaxy listens, it survives. If it attacks us, it won't." Marine was taken aback. This was not the vengeful, angry human she expected. They had snapped, yes, but they had also adapted, evolved, risen above the rage that had consumed them. "Perhaps they are different," she whispered to Zorthuan. "They are," he replied. "But that difference terrifies every species that has ever met them. They are not merely survivors. They are architects of their own destiny." Back in orbit, Hale addressed the human fleet. "Prepare to establish zones of order. We will protect civilians. We will secure systems. But we will also make sure the galaxy knows, humanity will not bow. Humanity will not break. And humanity will not forget." Commander Jean looked at him. "Do you think the Council will listen?" Hale's gaze hardened. "They will. Because now, we are not the same species they once dismissed. We are something they cannot ignore. We are humanity, united, relentless, unstoppable. And we will write the rules from now on." Across the galaxy, news of human actions spread faster than any fleet could travel. Systems that had once feared the Dravik, the Trinax, and even the Council itself now realized that humans were a force beyond prediction. Ships arrived to offer allegiance. Scientists and engineers traveled to learn from humanity's ingenuity. Even some counselors secretly hoped to ally with them, knowing full well that refusal could mean destruction. Marine and Vareth returned to Council Prime, stunned. "They've become what we can never fight directly," Vareth muttered. Marine nodded. "No. We must respect them. Otherwise, extinction is the only alternative." Zorthuan said nothing. But in the silence, all agreed, humanity had reshaped the galaxy, not just with fire and power, but with survival, intelligence, and unshakable resolve. And somewhere deep in the void, Hale watched the stars shimmer. The Council had survived this encounter, but the galaxy would never forget. Humanity had snapped, yes, but they had also risen, stronger than any had imagined. The universe would now have to learn one truth. When humans rise, even the impossible bends to their will. The galaxy had changed forever. Planets that once trembled under alien empires now looked to humanity with awe and fear. Fleets moved carefully, diplomats whispered cautiously, and even the oldest species in the Council realized one undeniable truth. Humans were no longer the species to underestimate. General Aaron Hale stood on the bridge of the UNS Retribution, watching the stars shimmer through the distorted light of the Echo bomb's remnants. Humanity had survived, adapted, and grown stronger. They had rewritten the rules of the galaxy, not through conquest alone, but through survival, intelligence, and unyielding determination. "Sir," Commander Ray-Jean said, stepping forward, "the Council has agreed to formal negotiations. They want an alliance, not because they trust us, but because they know they have no choice." Hale's face was calm, almost serene. Then we'll negotiate. On our terms. Torres, standing nearby, added softly, "It's a start. But the galaxy will remember everything we've done." Hale nodded. "Good. Let them remember. Let them remember that humanity survives, no matter what." On Council Prime, the delegation of alien leaders arrived for the historic meeting. Marine floated forward, her gills shimmering in the faint light. Zorthuan, Vareth, and the other counselors were behind her, each carrying the weight of centuries of history. Hale greeted them simply. "Welcome. Sit, speak, and listen. Humanity is ready to make the galaxy a place where survival is respected, where strength and mercy exist together." Marine's voice trembled, but she spoke clearly. "General Hale, the Council recognizes your power. Your fleet, your technology, and your resolve have changed the balance of the galaxy. We acknowledge humanity as a primary force, not to be ignored or dismissed." Varetha's antennae twitched nervously. We underestimated your species. We have learned, painfully, that humans are not to be treated as children or primitives." Hale's gaze swept across the chamber. "Then learn well. Humanity will not seek needless war. But humanity will never bow. Respect us, or face the consequences." The room fell silent. The counselors understood that this was no threat, it was a promise. Humanity had fought, endured, and survived against impossible odds. Now they spoke from a position no species could challenge. In the void, human fleets had begun to patrol the galaxy's critical zones. Systems that had once lived under fear now saw stability, protection, and fairness. Humanity did not destroy what could be spared, but they acted decisively against aggressors. Captain Lena Torres looked at Hale on the bridge. "Sir, the galaxy is changing. Faster than I imagined." Hale nodded. "Good. Let it change. Let them see that humans are not just survivors. We are architects. We are the standard now." Even as they spoke, alien fleets began sending envoys, offering cooperation, science, and trade. Many did so cautiously, fearing the humans' unmatched determination. But the offer of partnership was clear. Humans were now the galaxy's new center of power. Back on Council Prime, Marine reflected silently. "We faced extinction, and survived. But humanity, they are beyond any of our control now. They've redefined what it means to be powerful, to endure, and to rise." Vareth nodded slowly. "They've snapped once, yes. But they adapted, survived, and reshaped the galaxy in ways we could not imagine. Perhaps, this is how the universe should have been all along." Zorthuan remained silent, but the hum of his crystalline body reflected contemplation. Humanity had proven not only strength but resilience. They were no longer a young race to be dismissed. They were a species that could outlast the stars themselves. Hale turned to his crew, his voice carrying the quiet confidence of a man who had seen humanity at its worst and its best. "The galaxy will never forget us. And they shouldn't. We are humanity, unstoppable, relentless, and united. We have fought impossible odds and survived. We will shape the future, not through fear alone, but through the proof that when humanity rises, the impossible bends to our will." The crew stood silently, feeling the weight of their accomplishment. They had endured, conquered, and survived what no other species could. And the stars themselves seemed to acknowledge the truth. Humanity had snapped, and in snapping, they had risen to heights no one had dared imagine. The Council would adapt. The galaxy would adapt. But one fact remained forever clear: humans were no longer to be underestimated. They were the standard. They were unstoppable. And they were just getting started.